Hey crew, it's Pitt, and I'm back with some more MBTI. Today we're going to be diving into some more of the support functions. We're going to be dealing with introverted thinking, so let's just pop on over. Introverted thinkers, or TI, like to organize all the thoughts. They think in true-false. They're very logical. They base what they do off of logic. They like to find the most probable outcome. Will this happen, true or false? If it's true, then it is likely, and if it is not, if it's false, it is not likely, and therefore they separate the possible from the not possible. They really like to be correct. Everybody likes to be correct, but they really like to be correct. They're very firm in how they deliver their information back, and they're not flexible at all, really, in your reception of that. They don't really care. A lot of the people with Asperger's tend to be misdiagnosed because of this. They're very good at troubleshooting, though. They're very good at seeing the problem and figuring out what the problem is. They don't have a whole lot of communication skills sometimes, but they're very good at figuring out what the problem is. They follow a logical procedure from the back to the front or from the front to the back and figure out where the problem lies, and they do that quickly and efficiently. But they also tend to say they're all wrong a lot. They don't rely on the consensus at all, so they don't care whether or not you think they're correct. They know that they are logically consistent, or so they hope. As we get into the slots, in the divine slot, you're going to be determining the best thoughts for others. That means that ideally, you're taking in everyone else's thoughts and then you're sorting them into the best possibility. It doesn't tend to happen that way because most people tend to not be very healthy in their stack, so they don't do what they really need to do. But that is what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be determining the best thoughts for others, and for the crown, you're determining the best thoughts for yourself. It is what is my thoughts on this matter, as opposed to what does everyone think about this matter. So a TI is very much about what are my thoughts on this, and the divine uses what they think about it to help the tribe first, and the crown uses what they think to help themselves first. So they're very much they think in the same way most of the time, but where they go with the information is what varies. The third eye is going to get defensive over consistency. They're the ones that are going to look at the evidence and be like, this and this doesn't match. Why did you come to this conclusion? And when you don't have a good answer for that, they're going to hammer you for it. But also, if they don't have their proper research done, which is likely because it's lower in the slots, then they're going to get very defensive over that. They're going to be like, I don't care what evidence you think you have. This is what I think this is, and you're not going to budge them from it. The throat is going to think that they're consistent when they're really not most of the time. You're going to think, as a throat TI, you're going to think that you know the logical outcome of things, but you don't. You really don't. The other side of the TI here is going to be an FE up here. So you're relying more on other people's feelings, and you think that you're logically consistent, but you're really not. The heart is going to really want to be consistent, but you're really not most of the time. Like, some people just naturally get their slots all and work with it, but that is extraordinarily rare. And you really want to be consistent. Like, you want to be based in logic, but as a TI heart, you're going to be TE divine. And so you're going to be relying on what everyone else thinks and thinking that that is what you logically think. The solar plexus is going to hate that you're not consistent. You're going to hate that because you rely on the TE for yourself. You're going to really hate that the TI is not consistent for you. The sacral is going to chase objectivity. They're going to chase being able to separate their thoughts from the other thoughts. And they're not going to be very good at it. They're going to chase it and never really reach it. And then the base is not going to believe in objectivity. They're going to think that everything is flexible. Everything. They may think that, biological constants are possibly different. And so here we get into how do we integrate this? How do we make this all a part of us? Because we use all 8 of the functions in varying degrees, and we need to be able to use them all healthily. Whenever you find out where these fall in your stack, then you assimilate them into yourself. We're going to start at the base. To assimilate a TI base, you're going to be needing to stop listening to what everyone else thinks as much. Take the time to assess. Look at your logic. Make sure that the thoughts that you are giving back and expressing from your throat are actually your thoughts and not somebody else's, because that's what your tendency is going to be, to just mimic what someone else thinks. You need to find the logical consistency. You need to find the data, the research. You need to find independent opinions. You need to find other sources of information to contradict, no matter if it's even if it's far-fetched. You need to take the time to take that in. Consider it. If it's wrong, and that's fine. But at least look at the arguments. Strongman the arguments. Don't strawman them. The sacral, you're going to be chasing the objectivity. And in order to find it, what you're going to need to do is take the time and assess where your logic is failing you. It is probably failing you because you're getting defensive over what everyone else is thinking. And so, take the time to consider what everyone else is thinking. Don't be so defensive over what everyone else is thinking. And then make sure that what you are coming back with is logically consistent. Make sure that it passes the true-false test. Not everything can be put into a true-false, but almost everything can be put into a true-false. And it's going to be exceptionally hard for you and for the base user to do that. You're going to have to put the effort in and take the time to say, okay, what is the true-false in this situation? And most of the time, the current thing that you're dealing with is not going to be it. It is going to be an underlying issue that is either true or false. Take the time to identify where in your life you're missing your logical consistency. The solar plexus, you're going to hate that you're not consistent. And the way that you become consistent is to take your time. Make sure you consider all the thoughts that everybody else has, but make sure that you put them to the true-false test. Make sure that you are not coming, say you practice a natural earth-born religion. So let's go with Wicca, right? And you personally believe that the goddess has created the entire world and that all life is divinely sacred and that everything is equal. It is not logically consistent, therefore, to believe that terminating a pregnancy can be part of your religion. Although, right now, the Wicca boards are lit up with people upset about Roe versus Wade. That is not logically consistent. Find the logical consistency in your beliefs. And then stick with them, right? You need to take the time to understand why you're not being logically consistent. It is probably because you are taking in all of this information and using it for yourself and not bouncing it back against the tribe. So you need to give somebody this information to test with. You're not going to be good with logic, so you're going to need to bounce it off of someone who is. The heart. This is where your calling is. This is the part that holds your divine and your baser instincts together. This is the part that makes up you. And so you really want to be consistent. You really want things to be consistent or ideas to be consistent. You really want that. And in order for you to be able to be really happy in what you're doing, you need to have a position somewheres. And when I say a position, that can be you owning your own thing, or it can be you working for someone else. Either way, what you need to be doing is checking the logic on things, making sure that the procedures are the most logical, making sure that we are getting the supplies in the logical manner, making sure that you're doing something where you're making sure that things are consistent. The consistency for you is going to be very important because logic is all about consistency. And so you're going to like probably to have a stable job where you're doing the same thing and the lists add up every time. That's what you're going to be happy doing. And so if you're in construction and you're a TI heart, you're really not going to be happy with that. And then we get into the upper parts. This is the parts where you're actively using it to a different degree. The throat, you're going to think that you're consistent, but you're not. You're going to have a hard time communicating your logic to others because it is probably a little bit flawed, and you're going to get extreme pushback whenever you come with flawed logic. You need to take time to assess your own thoughts, and before you give them back to the tribe, you need to make sure that they are logically consistent in reality and not just in your mind. Because once they are, and you are actively using this, it is extremely helpful for you. The third eye is going to get defensive over their logical consistency. So if, as in the example before, I go to that Wiccan and I'm like, hey, that doesn't make sense. They're the ones that's going to flame you in the comments. They're the ones that are going to be like, but, my body, but, my choice, but, whatever. Like, it comes down to a simple yes or no question. And the yes or no question isn't necessarily what you like. It's not necessarily what you feel. But if you're your TI right here, then up here, you're going to have an F. And the F is going to make you want to feel more than you think. That's just how that works. And so you're going to need to take the time to think about what your feelings are and why they are not logically consistent. You're going to have to take the time to think about what you're looking forward to. Like the third eye is also about the near future and being aware of the possibilities that are coming. And so for you, that is your thoughts. You are thinking about the things that are coming. And so if you can get logically consistent in the manner in which you do that, you're very good at looking forward in that manner. And you have the added advantage of being able to get feedback from the tribe on that with the F. And then finally we come to the crown and the divine. Now, working on these are extremely easy because by the time you get to here, if you are a TI divine or a TI crown, you should have already worked your way all the way up through all the rest of the functions. Except for possibly one, which is going to be, right, if you're a TI divine, then you got something here. But by the time you get here, your stack is pretty well balanced. You're getting the information that you need to be getting, you're getting the ideas that you need to be getting, and you're getting the feedback from the tribe that you need. Those are necessary for you to be consistent in your logic. And if you are consistent in your logic, because that is the primary driver in your life, you're going to be amazing with it. But if you mess it up, it's going to be a major mess up. If you don't balance all of this, then you have a chance of getting stuck in your TI. And this is where people are really stuck. Like this is like Sheldon in the seat, right? This is the spot where it's like I'm stuck in this is the best for me, as opposed to or this is the best for everyone. So I guess it would be more like monk. Like, nobody needs to touch things, right? That's the best thinking, is that if nobody touches things, nobody gets sick. That's a good example of it. They are very much determining the best thoughts for other people, and the crown is very much determining the best thoughts for themselves. So a TI crown is going to be your typical introvert, probably, with they were dealing more with their own stuff. Elon Musk seems to be a TI crownish, because he is very much concerned with logic, but he is not concerned at all with feelings. And so, yeah, that seems to work pretty well. So what do you need to do to assimilate this? First, you need to balance all of these other things, and then you need to take the time to make sure that your logic is consistent, because it normally is. But if it's not, then it is a major problem. It is more of a problem for the divine than it is for the crown, but it is a problem for both of them. If you're using the wrong inputs, you're going to get the wrong outputs. And that is what's going to bite you more often than not. If you get bitten, it is because you have not taken the time to consider the other things. You're not considering other people's thoughts, for sure, and that you definitely need to be doing. Because you are not the know-all, be-all of anything. Nobody is. Nobody knows everything. Some people know a lot of things, but nobody knows everything. And so you need to get the feedback from the tribe. You need to be able to say, hey, here's what my thoughts are on this. What are your thoughts on this? And to actually listen to what they say and not just assume they are wrong because they are dumber than you, which you have a tendency to do. They're very arrogant people. Like, TI Divine is a very arrogant thing, because you are very much relying on your thoughts and your thoughts alone. And you're pushing that on everybody else. So, like, you're like, yes, I think this is the best thing. You all need to do it. And it's to varying degrees for everybody. Every human is an individual, and everybody, even if they have the same slot, like two TIs, divines are going to do two different things. They are two different people. Everybody is different, but they will be concentrated on focusing on their own thoughts and giving them to the other people. All right, so this one's a little bit harder for me because I am a TI third eye, and so I am looking forward. I am try to be very logically consistent, but I do have a tendency to let my FE get in the middle of that, and I'm working on that too. So hopefully I brought a little bit of enlightenment and not too much confusion to a complicated topic. If you like what I'm doing, give me a like, share, and a sub. Throw me a comment. Let me know what you would like to see. Let me know what you need explained better. Let me know the things that you need to be logically consistent. This is me working on expressing my TI, because I have spent a lot of time on the yes-nos in this system. I have spent a lot of time on this, so much so that I developed a logic system in Unreal to help me make sure that I got everything right. And like, I have a whole app that does this, but I can't figure out how to get it to other people. I'm really bad with that. To the crew, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate every single minute that you are here with me, and I am praying for you every single day. And I don't know if y'all noticed it or not, but I got a praise report. This is my whole voice for the whole thing. I had a couple of cracks, but for the most part, this is my voice for the whole thing. Till next time, this has been Pitt State. Peace.